Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to my Space Engineers series. It has been a wonderful time building this little thing you see in front of me, and I built this because, as you probably already know if you follow Space Engineers even in the least bit, that one of the most awaited features is finally here in its first stages. It is oxygen and pressurization. Now, to start off, to actually get the oxygen, I'm just kind of cutting right to the chase here. They have added a new ore block, new ore type, and it's simply called ice. It's ice. Now you mine the ice, and you put it into this oxygen generator, which in the G menu, oxygen generator, it is right here. You place it, you will just right into here. I like to make sure that there's an oxygen tank, which will just immediately take any oxygen produced and store it right away. I'm pretty sure you have to do that. I don't know if this generator has any storage of its own. Let's check. Yeah, I don't think it does. If it does, it's a very small amount. But anyway, next we have this oxygen tank. Excuse me. It's not required, but it is very nice to stockpile any extra oxygen that you might have. I have that right here. If you hit stockpile, it does just what it says. It will not be able to be drained by air vents, and it has the total amount filled right here. Now, air vents. Air vents are they're the block that do all the work. So I'm just going to close that airlock there so that I don't just vent everything into space. Because from what I can tell, oxygen isn't really consumed. So if you're careful, you'll be able to just pump it right back into the oxygen tank, and no one will be any the wiser that you had it pressurized in the first place. So this is my setup here, and while you can see into space, it is in fact sealed. Me and Lord Fury, the guy that helped me build this, he had to go. He was going to be in the video, but he had some stuff going on. He had to leave me. That's okay. I can do this solo. So these air vents here are what will input the oxygen into your little structure here. Again, you have to make sure that this is completely sealed, otherwise you'll just vent it right into space. It'll be a complete waste of ice and oxygen, and you'll make me very sad. So, don't do that. So let's go ahead and pressurize this place. You will notice that on the bottom right above the little gravity indicator, we have an oxygen indicator, and right now it says none. Now, if I go into this little control panel here, yes, okay, so what this blue color means on the air vent is that it is not pressurizing, but it is available to pressurize. So, if I go into that, and well, actually, before I do that, just interrupting myself, I'm pretty sure it will change color if it is not sealed. So I'll open this up, and yeah, if it's exposed to a vacuum, that light will be yellow. If it's yellow, it means you have a leak, and you don't want to do that. That would be bad. Alright? Don't do it. Don't care how much you want to. Don't do it. So I'm just going to close this back up. You will see that will become that cyan color, light blue, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call it blue. And then you can actually commence the pressurization. Now, there's a better way to do this. These are configurable with buttons. You can do whatever the heck you want. I'm just showing you how this is going to work, the very bare function. Right now this is selected to depressurize. We don't, well actually that's the airlock, I want that one. We don't want this to depressurize. We want it to pressurize, so you decheck that. And there's even a little particle effect when it's pressurizing. And kabam! It is now pressurized. You can see on the bottom right that it is oxygenated. And you can go over to a med bay, hit T, and you can go to engineer suit, no helmet. And you can run around without a helmet and you will not die. Isn't it amazing? Look at me. Can I get any closer? I don't remember how to do the spectate functions right now. But you can clearly see I'm running around without a helmet. As of right now, you can see that even though my jetpack is off, my lights are off, my dampeners are even off now, but the energy will still tick down. I'm guessing that maybe That is going to be a feature later, that when you're in an oxygenated environment, your energy won't go down. So right now there really isn't any practical function to it, I guess you could say, except for it's definitely highly immersive, that's for sure. Unless you run around with this, and if you go outside, you will obviously suffocate. And yeah, that would not be good. What is going on there? Oh, you know what? I think when you don't have your okay, so it seems like oxygen is consumed. Before, when I was running around in just a suit, like in my suit, it would never consume any oxygen. It would always have the same amount that I had before. So now that I have my suit on, I don't think we're ever going to see that again. Heck, if I wanted to, I can even turn the blocks off, and it will remain oxygenated. Now, this is actually a good way to show you guys different little feature that they have. I have to hit T, not K. Silly Ryan. No helmet. Okay. Idea. Ideas rolling around in my head. Stop it. Okay. Oxygen tank, stockpile. It will no longer get pulled, the oxygen will no longer get pulled from that oxygen tank through the thing, so it will no longer be able to replenish the oxygen here. I can turn these back on, and when you see these green indicators, it means the room is pressurized, and the number of green blips you see indicates the amount of oxygen, the richness of the oxygen in the environment. It's also indicated by the oxygen high on the bottom right. Now I have found, well, Lord Fury has found that if it's low, that will still display in red, and you will slowly take health damage. Not nearly as fast as if you were at a complete vacuum, but it's still not a good time. So, it definitely seems, oh yep, see, there we go. If we have lost a little bit of pressurization, we're still at 3 blips, but yes. So, here's a thing that we can do. I can seal this up in between here. I'm going to go in here, and we are going to depressurize this room. And if we look over there, we will see it sucking out the air from that room. Again, it won't suck any air out from here because I just sealed this airlock. It even says airlock. So, oh, look at that. Because I sealed this, and of course that oxygen is now in a tighter environment. It has the same amount of volume in a tighter space, so it will increase the air pressure. Now, if I open this door, the air rushes into there, and we are now actually in a low oxygen environment. Now, I forgot to take that off of decompress. So you see, that is sucking out air, that is putting in air, but we're hovering around at 2 bars of atmospheric pressure. And that is a low environment. And as I previously mentioned, you take health damage. If you can look at the bottom left, 83%, 82%. So actually, I could probably heal myself faster than I'm taking damage at the med bay. Yes, I can. So, there is that. And I'm actually going to stop the depressurization. I'm just going to deactivate that vent completely. It'll stop sucking out air. Is this still putting in air? I think it is. It is. Stop it. Of course it couldn't, because I have the oxygen tank on stockpile. But you can clearly see that the oxygen will move around in the environment, and say I have this closed, I've pressurized just this room, which is essentially what I just did. I open this up, the air rushes in there, all of a sudden you go from a high pressure environment to a low pressure environment, because now it has the same amount of oxygen has to take up twice the amount of space, so the air is a lot thinner, and it's not quite high enough to stop you from taking health damage. Now, if I go back in here and do this, no longer depressurize, toggle block on, it will repressurize this room. Actually, I have to remember, you have to have your oxygen tank not on stockpile, and now it will repressurize the room. Again, you get that little particle effect. The oxygen is now back on high, everyone is happy, I'm not suffocating anymore and taking health damage. So there's that. I'm just going to restore my health really quick here. But, again, there is no explosive decompression yet. your energy will still tick downwards. So apart from the whole realism immersive effect, that is not there yet. Well, I mean, derp, 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 derp. The realism effect, immersion is there, but your suit energy will still drain. It's just that you can walk around without a mask, which is pretty freaking awesome. Now this leads to questions such as, is there going to be food or anything like that in the game? And I haven't done a whole lot of research on that, but I have seen that questions being posed. I'm not sure about the answer to that, but it does leave open the question, like, if they have the system, there needs to be some benefit. And I'm not sure that not having an energy drain is going to be enough. Like, maybe there's going to be a food system. Only the future can tell what it will bring. But let's play around with this a little bit, shall we? Again, since I have my mask off, I am breathing, and the system has to continuously pump small amounts of oxygen in here to keep me alive. So, I'm going to deactivate this. Alright. And what happens if I, God forbid, open up that airlock? We're going to find out. I will open it up. We will see the air rushing out quite rapidly, and all of a sudden, my health is going down quite fast. It's still enough time that if you have a medbay nearby, you'll be able to rush over there and throw on your mask. But if you don't have medbay nearby, it will be the death of you. So, that is something to keep in mind. Health is critical, seek medical attention immediately. No! Ah! So, that is pretty cool. It will kill you pretty quickly. So, I would recommend that if you have a, if you're planning on getting into some combat, and you have a pressurized ship, just for the whole realism factor, because you want to see the air rushing out when you have a hull breach, you might want to keep your mask on, unless you have some pretty thick armor. By the way, it's important to note that since, as of right now, the no helmet thing, no helmet is a skin, you will respawn without a helmet. So that is something to keep in mind. You want to be able to quickly put your suit back on. Otherwise, you will die. You will surely die. So, but before we do all of that nonsense, I'm just going to toggle block on, depressurize. We're going to suck all the oxygen out. I don't want to waste any more than I already have in that little demonstration. And again, we have that yellow light because that airlock is completely open, so it is exposed to the vacuum, and this is warning us, hey, that dipshit. If you turn this on, it's just going to be pointless, because we're not going to be able to pressurize it because it is exposed to space. So that really is pretty much it. There is so much opportunity with this. The thing I'm most looking forward to is explosive decompression. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, Lord Fury, before he left, he did install this little system. It's not really anything that does much, it's just something fun. So I'm going to have these things repressurize. If we look in there, we will see it putting in the oxygen back into the room. Ta-da! And this button should work. Should it work? Maybe it's not going to work. Hello, button. Maybe because he owns it? That actually could very well be. Well, this is awkward. Ah. Oh, anyway, this is like a kill button that we're going to have on here. It'll vent the oxygen from the room, and a siren will sound, and red flashy lights will go off everywhere. And there will be general pandemonium and mayhem as everyone suffocates and dies, ignoring the fact that there's a medbay right there. Shh, don't ruin the fun. But, yeah, let's go ahead and suck back up all of that handy-dandy oxygen. That's precious, precious oxygen, even though, as of right now, once again, just noting that there is no real practical effect. Your suit energy will still drain when you're in the pressurized zone. It is, in that effect, pointless. Just making sure that you guys are completely aware of that you're not expecting anything that isn't implemented yet. But the developers did make it clear that this is the first iteration of oxygen in Space Engineers, and there is definitely more features to come, so don't get your panties in a bunch. But that pretty much sums up the whole oxygen system as of right now. I will point out that you can use conveyors, as you probably noticed. I don't really feel like I had to explain that to you, but you can use conveyors to hook up your oxygen system, and it can move the oxygen around automatically, and it is really quite handy. Also, on a side note, completely unrelated, you can build conveyor tubes without bulletproof glass, even though the glass is part of the texture. Just thought I'd point that out. Completely irrelevant to the whole point of the video, but just letting you guys know. So, yeah, trying to think of anything else I might have left out, and I think I covered all of the bases pretty well. I'm going to keep this little setup here for scientific purposes, and any future updates to the oxygen system. This will be the testing grounds, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing me playing with new oxygen updates in the future. Hopefully decompression, explosive decompression, because how awesome would that be? Whole breach, people get blown out, maybe they don't even have their helmet on, they're suffocating, they're freaking out. I think it'd be pretty cool. But yeah, did I have anything on me on my body? I don't think I had anything in there. I had 17 ingots of uranium. It's a pretty good thing I checked. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off that reactor because I can. Large reactor. Deduce. Off. Toggle off. Everything off. Alright. So, until next time, this is Ryan from Stromboli Games, signing off.